Welcome to Tyrannosaurus Riffs. My name is Brandon, and today we're going to check out the Framus Cobra. The Framus Cobra is a 100-watt all-tube amplifier powered by a quartet of power tubes that are E34L, not to be confused with EL34s. The E34Ls provide a deeper low end and are more aggressive and punchy than a standard EL34. The E34L is tighter with slightly more headroom and power with a more aggressive crunch. You've also got 5 ECC83S preamp tubes. On the front of the amplifier, you've got a clean, crunch, and lead channels that are all going to give you their own gain, presence, volume, bass, middle, and treble. Your clean channel is provided with a bright switch. Your crunch and lead channels have a notch switch that are going to cut out a lot of your mids. On the far side of the amplifier, you've got the effect mix knob that's going to control whatever's in your effects loop. You've got your deep knob, which is going to act like a resonance for all three channels, your master volume 1 and your master volume 2. And then you've got your clean, crunch, lead, and master 2 switches, along with your standby and your power. On the rear of the amplifier, you will see that this is MIDI capable. You've got your different bias settings, your foot switch inputs, effects loop send and return, and your speaker outs, and then your 4, 8, or 16 impedance selection. Now before we jump into the playthrough, let's check this out in a quick mix. Alright, what's going on everyone? I hope you're all doing well out there. Before we jump into this, I want you to know there's chapters down below because I've got a cool story to go with this amplifier, followed by a story, followed by a question. So if you don't want to stick around for that, please feel free to go ahead and jump around to the different channels. I've got it all marked below for you. The Framus Cobra came out in the early 2000s. I was still in high school, just barely picking up a guitar and trying to figure out how to play it. I didn't really know a lot about tube amps at the time. I just remember as I was getting into the different types of metal and stuff, I remember seeing these amps around and I thought they seemed cool, but again, I didn't know a lot of what I was doing back then. So this has been on my list for a long time to get. I've been watching Ola England and Rob Arnold's videos on these for quite a while, just over and over, because I just wanted one of these really bad. Now, this exact Cobra has already been demoed on YouTube by Rob Arnold. Rob sold me this amplifier, so he's already demoed it and he did a fantastic job on it. If you don't know who Rob Arnold is, he is the guitar player for Chimera, and he's fantastic. But he's also got his own solo project, released his own solo album last year, and it's really cool. He's got his own YouTube channel. I'll put links to all of his stuff below. But overall, he's just a really good dude. He was really easy to communicate with, just a stand-up guy. So Rob, if you ever watch this, seriously, thank you for helping me achieve a bucket list amplifier of mine. So that's kind of how I came to get this. Just talking to Rob for a few minutes and we were able to come up with a deal, and here I am. I've got a Framus Cobra. Thank you. All right, next story. Rob Arnold, Chimera. I want to share a story from, I think, 2007. So I saw Chimera playing at the Great Saltaire. Yeah, this place. And they were playing with Guar. And I remember I've never seen that many fights at a show. I don't know why that was. But there was a lot of fights, and there was kind of a lot of blood on the floor at that place. Just people getting punched in the face. So I kind of stayed off to the side because I was like 17 or 18 and like 110 pounds. So I wasn't looking to get punched. But I remember Mark, the vocalist, he stopped the band in the middle of a song, and the crowd went quiet pretty quick because he kind of cut everyone off. So what had happened is, off to my right, so Mark's left, there was security had grabbed a kid that if I remember right, his face was pretty bloody because there was some fights going on, and they were dragging him out. But Mark saw the kid getting dragged out by security was wearing a Chimera shirt. So Mark stopped the song, dead song. And I remember, this is crazy. He looks at security and says, "Where are you taking my fan?" Stone cold, like even killed. Just, "Where are you taking my fan?" And of course security doesn't have a microphone, so they're kind of yelling back at him. I couldn't quite hear what they were saying, but they were going to drag him out of there, blah, 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 kick him out of the venue, whatever. And Mark just, I think he said a couple times, "Let go of my fan," or something like to that effect. And after a couple minutes, they let that kid go. I think they probably kept an eye on him, but I thought that was really cool of Mark to stick up for one of his fans like that. And I don't know why, it was half my life ago, but I still remember that, so I just kind of wanted to share a Chimera story with you. All right, now next. As you can see, this Framus Cobra's got the trademark deteriorating faceplate. When I first started looking for these, I was like, man, what are people doing to their amplifiers? Are they spilling oil on them? You can't feel all this. It is just some kind of a chemical reaction with the paint that Framus used. And a lot of these amplifiers have this deteriorating looking faceplate. It's really hard to come across a clean one. They are out there, but they're not always the easiest to come across and not always the most fair priced. Now, there are some different modifications you can do to this cosmetically. So here's my question. Because I don't like the deteriorating faceplate as much as I want to leave this the stock look, I'm thinking about changing this amp cosmetically. And I'm wondering, is that something you would be interested in seeing? The process that I go through. For sure, the faceplate's getting blacked out. I already figured out how to do that and keep the lettering. I'm undecided if I'm going to change the knobs out. The Tolex isn't in bad shape, but it's pretty dirty. It's got little nicks and stuff, but it's like a 20-year-old amp. So I'm debating if I'm just going to clean it up as best I can and darken it with the amp. I can't remember what the stuff's called. So it's definitely going to get a deep cleaning, get a refresh, and it might get re-Tolexed. I'm not sure yet. If I do that, I would do some kind of a black snake skin or a red snake skin and kind of fit the Cobra name. But I'm just curious, is that something anyone would want to watch? I don't mind just doing before and after pictures because I'm just like that. But if that's something people are interested in, to see how the faceplate gets changed, the cleaning, whatever, it's nothing to do with the guts of the amplifier. It's purely cosmetic and to just make it look as nice as I can. So that's my question. Let me know down below if you'd be interested in a video like that. If I don't have any interest, then I'll probably just do it and share a before and after picture on Instagram or the YouTube community or something like that. So anyway, that's a lot of chatting. I'm sorry. Let's jump into this. We're going to go lead, crunch, clean. We're going to do this a little bit backwards. And the reason we're going to do that is because I want to talk about these knobs real quick. So as I mentioned when I was going through the specs, the deep knob is going to be more like a resonance for all three channels, okay? The effect mix. I downloaded the manual and it says when you don't have anything in the send and return to keep it counterclockwise. So I did that when I first got it and I thought it was broken. Or I don't know. I just thought something sounded weird, which was odd because Rob's video sounded fantastic. But and then I remembered Rob said something about the effect mix. So I went and checked it. And oddly enough, this one kind of acts like a volume. And I don't know if it's supposed to do that, but let me show you that real quick. it sounds weak and lifeless to me, just very flat, like something's dying. So within a few minutes of realizing now it feels alive, and Frankenstein has come to life. So even though the manual says keep it counterclockwise, keep it all the way to the right. Before we jump any farther, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a Framus Stormbender, the Devin Townsend signature guitar. It's got the Fishman Fluence Devin Townsend pickups in it. This guitar is tuned to drop C. I do have my pedal board hooked up. I don't have anything going on right now. Maybe I'll want the noise suppressor, so it's there if I need it, but right now nothing's on. Straight into the Framus Cobra head, using a Mesa engineering cab, using a Mesa oversized cab in the room, but going through the 2 notes Torpedo Captor X for a better audio representation on your side. With everything set to noon, here's what we have. Okay. Honestly, I don't even think it sounds bad with everything at noon. This thing's already kind of got a lot of bass going on, so even though I would normally dial that up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and leave the bass at noon. Really brings back the early 2000s, doesn't it? I really like the tone of this amplifier. I've read a lot of stuff that people think it's hard to dial in, but I don't know how it's going to translate after being done, but it sounds good to me in this room right now. So hopefully it's not too woofy, but I don't know. Early metalcore stuff, it's my favorite. So before we jump over to the crunch channel, let me show you the notch switch real quick. It's kind of, again, that's going to cut your mids, and it's going to sound like a built-in HM2. I think that my high school self, not knowing any better, would have thought that was the coolest tone in the world, but that is not something I would use anymore. I don't know what it would be used for. Let's jump over to the crunch channel, shall we? Alright, so we've got everything set to noon currently. The reason I keep reaching over to my right is this amp is pretty noisy, which doesn't bother me too much. I'm not using the noise suppressor, but I keep using my amp switcher to kind of turn it off so you're not getting all that humming while I'm speaking. So here we go. Some Canadian rock and roll for you. Let's give it some more gain. All the gain. Sounds nice. I don't mind that channel, but I bought this for the lead channel, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through it real quick. Not for me. No notch. So the crunch does sound really good. I do have it pretty gained out, but you can definitely dial that back and get a more classic rock kind of sound if that's what you're going for. Let's move on to what you've all been waiting for, the clean channel. Now with the clean channel, if you've been here before, you know that I like to use the neck pickup, but if I've got a Devin, Townsend, Fishman equipped guitar, I like voice 2 for that single coil sound. So everything's at noon and the bright switch is off. Everything at noon, bright off, actually sounds really good for a high gain amplifier, to my ears at least. I do like a lot of low end on the type of clean stuff that I would go for. Bright switch. If you need cleans at all for the type of music you play and you've got a high gain amplifier, if you can find a Cobra, I actually really like the clean channel on this amplifier a lot. I know that's not why people buy them. That's jokes on me. I'm playing clean on mostly high gain stuff, but I don't do a lot of clean. I'm here for the lead channel anyway. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed checking out the Framus Cobra with me. If you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around. I know it was kind of a lot of talking from me this time. And don't forget to comment below if you'd like to see the cosmetic changes in a video or not. Either way. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you spending the time to check this video out. Take care, and I'll see you soon.